Hey everybody, the vigil continues. There you get a look at my odd couple chasing each other around. That's my Tenopoma and my Synodontis. They love each other. I swear they're buddies. They pal around the tank together all the time. But that's not what this video is about. This video is just a brief update to let you know I am still working my way through the cycle. And I thought this would be a good time to make another point about the way I am doing this. I'm cycling this with fish in it. I did force the cycle a little bit. I bolstered the nitrifying bacteria when I set the filter up, and I've added some into the tank water on a few occasions just to add additional nitrifying bacteria. And it's sped it up. I've only had fish in the tank for about 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, something like that, and I'm almost done. I'm coming down the home stretch, but I am still developing nitrites in the water. I just tested it again for my evening test, and I was still accumulating them. I haven't gotten to the point where they are actually starting to drop yet, so I haven't crested that hump. I'm done with my ammonia. I'm still registering no ammonia, so I'm just, again, down to the last, seems like the last few hours. I really keep expecting any time now when I do one of these tests, it's going to show up as being lower than the last time I did a test, and then at that point I won't have to worry so much about doing water changes. For now, it is still accumulating, and I had nearly 1 part per million of nitrite again in the tank. So once again, a late night water change, although it's not as late as my one last night, which was like at 12:30. It's about 10:30 right now, and I'm well underway. I'm still draining it, but I'm only going to let it go down about another 2 inches, maybe 3 inches, and then I'm going to top it back off. Now, the key to doing this and allowing your nitrifying bacteria to increase in numbers, you have to allow a certain amount of their food source to accumulate, and that's either the ammonia, or in this case it's still the nitrite. I still need to develop the cultures of the bacteria, the specific bacteria that eats the nitrite. I do not have enough numbers of those yet. So in order for them to multiply, I need to provide them with food, and that means I have to allow my fish to swim around in a certain amount of nitrites. So there comes a compromise. If I was cycling this tank without fish in it, I would let the nitrites build up as much as they wanted, and then that would speed the whole process up because there'd be so much nitrite, there'd be tons of food, and I would get a lot of rapid excess growth. I can't do that because I have fish in the tank, so I have to minimize it by keeping it at around 1/4 to 1/2 part per million of nitrites, which doesn't really encourage a huge amount of additional bacterial growth because it's not a huge amount of excess food. So it's sort of like this tit-for-tat compromise where I'm actually sort of extending the process and dragging it out longer by doing it this way, but it's the way I have to do it because I'm doing it with fish in the tank. Again, I went into that knowing this. This is not the first time I've done this. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do this. I know what to look for, and I know what kind of levels. I've got an elephant nose fish in here. It's a very, very sensitive fish to water conditions, so I have to be really on top of what these levels are getting up to. So I've not yet let it get over 1 part per million, and in fact, the most it's ever really gotten was on this water change now. And it was getting up close to 1 part per million. I usually don't let it get over 1/2 part per million, but that means constantly being vigilant about checking my water parameters and being on top of what's going on in this tank. I check it at least twice a day, every day, when I get up and before I go to bed, and then I will often do it during the day. In fact, I actually have to buy some more test solution because I have run out of reagent for my nitrite test kit, and I need to get some more of that so I can continue doing these tests. I do have enough to do a couple more tests to get me through a few more days, but I'm pretty much out again. So, I also wanted to pass on one final tip. If you watched my video from yesterday, you know that I left my filter unplugged overnight because it was a very late night, unusual filter change, or a water change, and it just got me kind of out of my normal pattern and routine of doing it, and I wound up just putting everything back together and going to bed without plugging the tank in. And normally what I do is I just leave the plugs sitting out like that. One is for my heater and one is for my filter. But one of my friends, Ozzy the Oscar, suggested that what they do is, since I have an under tank cabinet that I keep my filter in, to do what he does, which is leave the cabinet door open until I'm done. Once I've plugged it back in, I can go ahead and close the cabinet door. This is whether I actually do any filter work or not. Just once that filter becomes unplugged, open that door. It will be very hard for me tonight to go around and make my rounds and, you know, shut everybody down and get the room all closed down without noticing that big old cabinet door sitting open like that. So good job, Ozzy. That was a great tip. I'm going to do that from now on. I will also put a link to his channel in the description below, so you should go on over there, check out his videos, be generous with the thumbs up, and subscribe while you're there if you're not already. That also stands for my channel. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and do it. I do these sort of impromptu, off-the-cuff updates on a regular basis, and you don't want to miss any of them. So thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed. Hope that was helpful to somebody. Thanks again to Ozzy, and I will see you on the next one.